My friend thinks that I am her free babysitter, and I have to be available all the time no matter what. She wants me to prioritize babysitting for her over my family because she has a good heart. I babysat my friend's son for years free of charge because I knew she had no money and because he wasn't a bother. Her son is sick, and she refuses to take him to the doctor, claiming they won't do anything after I have told her repeatedly for weeks to take him. Her son's coughing also made one of my children sick as well because no one else in our family was sick except her son. Thankfully, I took my child to the doctor, and they gave them medicine, and they are better, but she refuses to do the same for her kid. Sometimes, she acts like I can be at her beck and call and babysit for her 247 regardless of what's happening in my personal life or if I'm busy. By the way, she does have other friends or neighbors who live nearby and can help her, but she calls me all the time because she knows I'm the least likely to say no. This is what happened today. This morning, whilst one of my children who has worked for a couple of hours was sleeping, her son was knocking on our door. She was on the phone with him, telling him to knock louder as my child heard her say when they called me asking if they should open the door. I told my child not to, and he could go to the summer school and be there early as the school was across the street from my house. I told her I wouldn't be home yesterday, but she still sent her son my way. In the afternoon, she told the summer school teacher to drop her son off at my house without asking me if it was okay. One of my kids, about to leave for work, answered the door, thinking it was me or someone else. Then I had to come back home to watch her son as he was going to be alone otherwise, and I do not like the idea of her child or any child for that matter being home alone in house because if anything happens to them, that's on me since he's in my home. Luckily, my niece's husband was home today as his day off from work, so he could look after her while I waited for the kid's mom to pick her up. When she came to pick him up, she told me that she wanted him to sit in my living room and watch TV while he waited for her and that she didn't ask for too much. And she also said that the lady she made the deal to take her son to summer school in the morning didn't work out because her son was sleeping by the time she left for work in the morning. And by the time he got ready to leave, he didn't know that she had made a deal with the neighbor, and she said that she forgot to tell him about the whole thing, which I think is bullshit, and she just wanted to have an excuse for her son to stay at my house again before and after school. And I think she dropped him off at the bus stop near my house and told him to come and knock on my door before she went to work. Then she lied and said he came all by himself. My friend asked me to help her babysit her son and take him to and from summer school while she is at work and the rest of the week. The thing is, my niece gave birth this week via a C-section, and I am staying with her at her house and helping her while she heals because her husband works and can't be there all the time, and she needs a lot of help as she is still healing. I told my friend this. And then, at first, she told me that helping my niece is a good thing. Then, in the very next message, she proceeded to guilt me by saying things like God is watching, that He hears and sees everything, and that she only asked me for a simple favor. She wouldn't accept no for an answer and continued to guilt me and send me more messages, trying to get me to say yes. She said things like she is a nice person with a good heart and soul and only asked for a small favor. After I stood my ground for a while, she messaged me saying that God sent her good people and asked her neighbor to help her, which she accepted. And then she finished it by saying her heart is good and clean. Update. I told her that I didn't want her to bring her son over anymore and that I thought it was manipulative and effed up that. She brought her son over despite me telling her I wouldn't be home and that she endangered her son because if my son was not home, then anything could have happened to him. I told her I hated how she used God to guilt me to say yes. I also told her that it is not my fault if she willingly endangers her son, and I will take appropriate action if it comes to it. And I finished it by telling her that God is also watching and hearing her. She then replied by telling me that she only has one child, that I have more than one child, and that I'm using that in order to hate her and her son. She then told me that I told her a long time ago that she and her son could come to my house any time, like, I can't have plans or things come up. She said it was my fault, but I wanted to help my family and that I had to be available at her beck and call 247 no matter what. She then told me she had sent my message to her family who live in a different country to prove how unreasonable I was. She then told me the message was me saying bad things about her and her son and trying to gossip about them. That was our last conversation, and I have not talked to her since.